Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends. Today's session, after completing so many videos on email etiquette and after understanding certain examples of certain email that we send to people, now is the time when we have to really understand certain points where we need to recheck or be sure on anything that should go out of your system. So before anything goes out of your system, it's very important to have a quick recheck of what you have done. So there are two different things. First is, before you hit the send button, what are certain criteria and certain crucial things that you need to check, and of course after hitting the send button, then what you need to check. So these are two different scenarios of before and after you hit the send button. Initially, let's focus on before you hit the send button. What all is there that you need to cross check before you hit the send button? First of all, did you spell the recipient's name correctly? So is the person whom you're sending the mail, or the receiver, has its name, as his or her name spelled correctly? That's a major blunder that we make. Many a time we put up our we are so used to pronouncing it in such a way where someone's name is Sweta and we have put her name or misspelled her name as Shweta. So H and without H, that's what I mean. So many a times we are so used to an accent or a pronunciation that it has to be pronounced in that particular manner only. But friends, many a times the spelling of the name is different. We need to understand whether are we really focused, and do we really know that whether we have spelled someone's name correctly or no. Misspelling the name of a person you are writing looks really unprofessional, particularly when the person's name is a part of your email address. Especially when there is an email address which says Sweta@ so and so, and we actually are writing Shweta, dear Miss Shweta, even after understanding and knowing that her spelling is not that, because we've already put that spelling in the email address. So these small things, which is like a common sense, we really lose on at times because we are really busy and we are just so in a rush, so much in a rush to click on the send button. So before hitting it, we need to see these aspects also majorly. Don't use a nickname unless and until, second thing, don't use a nickname unless and until the recipient has said it okay or asked for it to do so. So many a times we, instead of writing don't call Patrick, we write Pat. So unless and until Patrick has not said that you can use Pat, we actually shouldn't do that, because emails are the crucial part and a completely formal way of presenting yourself in front of people in terms of writing a mail. How can we not have a formal name, and how can we have a nickname instead of a formal name? So never ever use nicknames in the emails. Major thing to understand before hitting the send button is, did we hit on reply all or did we only hit on reply? That's very important. Why is it important? Is because whenever we hit a reply button, it is sure that we are sending a reply to that particular person who has mailed it back to us, or who has mailed us and he's expecting a reply. But when you do reply all, not necessary that all of them in the loop whom that person has kept as CC or BCC, it would not necessarily be your information to all of them. So before you hit the send button, always first remember that you need to understand whether you want a reply all or you want only a reply. If you want really a reply all where all of them should know what you are saying, then it's fine. But if it's not that way, you need to check that you do not click on reply all and you only click on reply. So this is something where if someone is not in a loop and doesn't really want to understand what you're saying, it is like a boredom for that person. And there is always a mail in the inbox which is laid, which not necessarily is there but just is lying, and you made that person's inbox full. You wasted his time to deal with that message of yours. So friends, this is very important. Before being in any hurry, just first confirm whether you want to send that message to only one person or to all of them in the loop. Please, we have a great function in our email. Please use that great function, which is called the spell check. Many a times we are very sure that all our spellings are right. We are excellent in our vocabulary and pronunciations, but many a times we goof up because more concentrated are we on understanding what the subject matter of that entire mail is going to be. In that scenario, we may lose our concentration over certain grammatic errors or certain spelling errors. Now, this function is, the technology has beautifully given us the function of spell check and grammar check. Please, friends, use that function so that at the end of the mail, before hitting the send button, we know that all the spellings are right and all the grammatic errors are thrown out with the correct grammar in. So it becomes very professional for anyone to read our emails, and we are sure that we are not putting up ourselves as a poor communication person or a person with not the right etiquette of communication. Spell check is does not pick up each and every mistake, but it also helps you to read through and get it well. So read it once again and see if there is any spell check at all. Now, it is very important to have a subject line. Never send a mail without a subject line. We've discussed what the subject line, how important it is, and what happens when the correct subject line or no subject line is there for the mail. So it's very important, friends, for us to first make sure that there is a subject line on each and every mail of ours, and only then press the send button. Next, a very important and crucial part is, did you have a correct opening and a closing with the correct greetings? This is again something that you need to check before sending any mail, that how did you open a mail, how did you close a mail, whether you have everything right in that mail, and whether the body looks up to date and all the parts of the emails are utilized in the correct way. If responding to message, have you answered the questions that were asked? If there was a mail put to you asking certain questions to you, please go through your email and check whether did you really answer all the questions that were asked. Has the purpose of sending the reply message solved or considered? So this is something that you again have to check before clicking on the send. Failing to answer certain questions or response, or asking questions that we answered in the previous mails, shows that you have not taken time thoroughly to read your mail, which is very important because that shows what kind of personality you are, that you do not have time at all to go through your emails and what exactly they want. You've not come back up to the mark. So there might be either a stop of conversation, or there might be another email asking you for the same questions which you had missed before. So don't let that happen. Before you click on the send, you please go through these certain points. Now, the next thing is the tone of your email. That's extremely important. What message do you leave after the email? Many people, after reading your mail, if you were angry at the time of writing your mail, they would ask themselves that, were you angry or upset when you wrote the mail? If so, wait for 24 hours. Sleep with it. Go for sleep before hitting the send button. Wake up with a good mood, write the mail again, and then only click the send button. Do not send any mail when you are fighting with your mood swings. That's something which comes out in a tone in your email as well. So sleep over it and then come up with a better mail, and then only send the hit button. Then only hit the send button. That's very important, friends. Never ever put your tone aggressive. Passive, okay, understood, but aggressive, not accepted. Turn the aggressive into assertive, make it a better mail, and then send the hit button. These were certain points which I thought are important. These are certain very common issues or common mistakes that we do while before we send a mail to anyone, and we do not, we forget to cross check. So I have tried to give you certain points where I think now it will make your life easy of what all you need to cross check before you hit the send button. Let's see what all you need to do after you hit the send button. Number one, be patient. This is something very important because whenever you are sending a mail and you're waiting for a reply, it's important that that person needs his time to reply you back. We cannot expect an immediate reply or a prompt reply within certain minutes or seconds or certain hours also. We have to understand how much time that person would need to get back to us. So we have to be extremely patient. Mails are not issues that are time sensitive. Why do we write a mail? If it was very urgent or so important, we could rather use a telephone, or maybe we could talk face to face to come to a certain conclusion. But mails are certain things which do not have priorities to urgency, it has priorities to the importance. So there are two things, urgent and important. We have to understand the difference between urgent and important. So whenever it is something urgent, we have to be patient. We cannot ask that person back for a quick email if that person has to go through certain things and answer you. So in that case, if we want something urgently, you can just pick up a call and ask over the phone or discuss or meet or whatever. But if it is very important, we're not urgent, we have to come to a final conclusion. So only after looking at certain things in a particular point of way, taking the time out to read that particular thing and then giving you an answer or reply, which will help you to be in a position to have better judgments to whatever you've written or better conclusions, that is the time when we actually use the emails to have important issues in place. So that is why we have to be very, very patient to see to it that that person will reply, and we have to wait for his reply. If you have sent an email after say 5 p.m. or at the weekend, you should expect a reply until the recipient has gone back to work. So suppose if I'm asking some question at the end of the day at 5 o'clock, I cannot expect that that person will reply me at 6 o'clock before she gets back to, before she leaves the work. There must be other priorities by of the receiver also. And so at that particular point of time, we have to understand that the reply is only going to come once she's back to work tomorrow or the next day, basically. Or if we are questioning her on Saturday, and if that is a weekend for her where she doesn't work, he or she or the recipient doesn't work. Now this is the time when we will have to keep our patience for 48 hours when she gets back to work on Monday, and that's the only time when the person will be able to reply you. So this is what I mean by keeping patience. Many people do not check their professional accounts on their personal time. Of course, not me at least. I give my time to the family whenever I feel that I'm free. So my personal time is not for professional emails. So that's why we have to be patient enough to understand when are we expecting what kind of reply and what time. The next important thing after hitting a send button is also to have correct follow-ups. Follow-ups, friends, are very important because without follow-ups, I don't think work can be done, at least in today's generation. We are caught up in immense work. We are caught up, and our to-do list is so huge that the whole day is not enough to get through all the work sorted. So it's very important for repeated reminders of certain follow-ups to be taken, so that the person always remembers that yes, this is something that I have to get back. And maybe we might feel, oh my god, she didn't even reply to my mail, that's so rude, or maybe she's just so irresponsible. Not all the time. There are a lot of things piled up at every individual. You might go through it yourself, you have experienced it yourself. So it's very important for us to also have that level of understanding with people when we really talk about someone getting back to us. So repeated follow-ups will help you. If you ask for assistance, a follow-up mail may be necessary. So maybe a follow-up mail would help you better. Wait a few days before following up. They may just be working on the busy inbox. So wait for some time before doing the follow-up. So after 48 hours, if you feel still there is no reply, then you can ask for a follow-up. You never know, they might be really busy because before you there might be 10 other mails whom they have to answer, or they're answerable to, and you're the 11th one. So definitely they cannot have you before the 10 other mails which have come before you. So have a follow-up done, but yes, be patient, wait for some time, and then start doing the follow-ups. I think these were some important and very small and minute things to remember and to practice at the daily basis to have an email etiquette on the right place. This will give you an idea of how better can you get on emails every time. A reminder for you before before hitting the send button, and a reminder for you to after hitting the send button as well. So friends, I think this was all about before and after you send a mail. from my side. Thank you so much for watching this video, and please stay tuned to our channel to subscribe to us.